Back like we never left, B.D.A. and One Piece chapter 1020. We at 6? One Piece chapter 1026. It's not out, but per usual, we're here to talk about it. I hate these breaks, but I understand why they're necessary. I do. What I'm saying is, Oda deserves his breaks, but you can't help but feel some withdrawal every time there's a week and there's not an official chapter, right? At least you get this to listen to and you get this to enjoy. So that's somewhat a silver lining. For some people, I don't know if everybody feels that way, but some people feel that way. Well, at least you get a prediction video. Like I've mentioned before, it's been a lot of One Piece content released lately. We've been feasting, honestly, and I couldn't be happier with where One Piece is right now, just off of the fact that there's a lot of things. The Vivid cards, the SBSs, the obvious chapters, even the Ace story written by Boichi. There's a lot going on. It's honestly not enough time to cover everything, but you enjoy it, right? You enjoy the fact that there's so much of the story that is coming to you at one time. But what we're here for is One Piece chapter 1026. What do we think is going to happen? What's the plan? What's the setup? How have things been progressing? How do we feel about everything? Luffy, Momo, Vivi? Well, she was in the cover story. Sanji, Zoro, Law, Kid, Big Mom. There are a lot of things to go over because, sometimes a chapter comes out and we completely forget the things that were going on before the chapter. And I think in this moment, I hope you don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not. I hope you don't forget to drop a like. I hope you don't forget to turn on post notifications because this was your reminder, okay? But without further ado, One Piece 1026, what do we expect? So, last chapter, Oda has obviously been narrowing things down, right? We're getting all of these smaller plot points out of the way. Now it's time to focus on the All-Stars. When I say All-Stars, I'm not just talking about King, Queen, Jack. I'm talking about the All-Stars. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, King, Queen, Jack, Kaido, Yamato. Those people who will be the determining factors for this war. Of course, not saying Jinbei and Frankie and Robin, their roles weren't important, but these moments right now, this is where it will all be decided. I know what CP0 said, saying, well, even if you defeat the, yeah, sure, but if you don't defeat them, then who the hell is gonna stop them? So this is where it matters the most. So now we gotta pull up our bootstraps and see exactly what Zoro got, what Sanji got, obviously what Luffy has, because he has the biggest test of them all. He has to defeat Kaido, the man who 1v1 we're supposed to bet on him. So Luffy's going into this battle with the odds heavily stacked against him, but that's never mattered before. So I think Luffy will be fine. However, how do we get there? Well, the recent chapter, Oda has been focusing more on Kaido, Yamato, Momonosuke, and somewhat that parallel. So I think it's going to continue. I had mentioned before that Raizo and Fukurokuju needs to get wrapped up because out of all the things that's going on right now, that's the one thing, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's not like the others. We have King versus Zoro, Sanji versus Queen, Jack versus Inarashi, Nekomamushi versus Pedro, Yamato versus Kaido. Then we have Fukurokuju versus Raizo. Now, not to say it's not going to be an interesting matchup because they're very quirky characters, right? So everything they do can be funny, can be interesting. But in regards to importance, again, narratively, I understand it and I like it. The meaning of duty versus emotion, that's what Raizo is acting on versus what Fukurokuju is acting on. I understand why that's an important concept here, especially with, a shogunate, where it comes down to who you're loyal to. And for Fukurokuju, it's showing that he's obviously loyal to not only Wano and the shogun, whomever that may be, but also himself. Self-preservation, which a lot of us, let's be honest, that's what we're all about. That's what a lot of people is about, self-preservation, where you care about things when you care about things. But for the most part, self-preservation, where how many people would be on Raizo's side, going against the establishment, as opposed to how many people would be on Fukurokuju's side, where it's like, hey, I don't care who's in power. I'm gonna listen to them. Think about that for a second. Anyway, I expect that to get wrapped up, right? There's a part of me that feels like a backstory is coming. We got a part of it for Yamato. I think it's Kaido's turn to get a backstory of his, what he went through, how he somewhat got to this point. Not the entire thing. I think some of it's going to happen while Kaido's fighting Luffy. But for right now, let's get some backstory. Let's get some context. Because for Kaido, we're speculating the things that makes him tick. We're speculating the things that makes him care about certain things, but we don't know for sure. We have no idea why he treats Yamato the way he does. What was the beginning of his treatment with Yamato? What happened to Kaido for Yamato to incur this type of treatment? That's important to figure out because it's obviously going to round out his character. And like I've been saying, he's been going up and up in regards to interesting villains, or if you want to say antagonists. He's one of the best, I think, in regards to the entire scope of what he's presented. As I mentioned before, part of Kaido's greatness comes from expectation. Did not expect much from Kaido. Expected pretty surface level stuff. And to be honest, some may say that's what we've gotten so far, but I had very low expectations going in. Kaido's blown me away. He's completely annihilated my expectations because he knows a lot more. He's a lot more insightful, and he's dropping the quotables. I went to Chipotle the other day, and randomly I just said to somebody, I was like, I thought you were Odin. They're like, what the f do you talk? Anyway, but where do we go? What's next? After the Kaido backstory, Oda has to give us Law, Big Mom, Killer, Hawkins, right? And again, with Momonosuke doing what he's doing, it's opened so many different holes where they could probably communicate better. They could see each other and understand what's going on. Maybe they're all fighting together now. I don't think Big Mom would ever fight willingly alongside Hawkins, but maybe that will aid their cause. But we need something, some progression there. You're telling me right now, Kid and Law, they're holding off Big Mom Dolo? I mean, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is. And again, there are a lot of people in the community that like to shit on Kid, that like to shit on Law, mostly in favor of other characters. But I think for this situation, we gotta give them their credit. This is wildly impressive. Big Mom is a literal walking disaster. And Kid and Law, even though Kid is actually hurt and injured, they're holding off Big Mom. So kudos to them 100%. I think Roof Piece, every character that was on the roof, went through this crazy power boost. And so post-Wano, we're gonna have a completely different perspective or just view of them as opposed to before Wano. So I'm really liking the characters that are getting more shine and getting some more credit. Now, Oda likes to pan and just gives us some idea of what's going on. What haven't we seen in a while? Well, I keep talking about Dendro, keep talking about Hiyori, keep talking about the Scabbards and updates in regards to how they're doing. So that probably has to continue. Again, I really feel like a Kaido-focused chapter is coming. Some more context there. Maybe some more of Zoro's dad. Okay, so that's been floating around as well. Whomever Zoro's dad is, people are saying it's Ushimaru. People are saying Ushimaru or Zoro's dad is Green Bull, which I don't hate. That would make things really interesting. But it's like I've seen the connections people have made. I've seen all different things out there. I'm still not sold yet. I'm not sold yet. Again, I would like for it to be the case, but I'm just doubting it, right? Momonosuke stuff, right? So Momonosuke Kaido stuff definitely has to happen. It's right in front of us. I don't think Oda's gonna jump away from that just yet. I don't think it's that huge of a deal, but it's important. And I think we have to stay here for a bit. Maybe discussing some ideologies, Momonosuke growing up, Kaido basically saying he's the only dragon that should be in town. But dialogue from adult Momo right now would be great. Again, his mind has not aged. He still lacks experience, and he's going up against a man or thing, creature, oni, ogre, whatever you want to call him, who is considered the strongest in the world right now. So the only thing that can really be discussed, I think, between Momonosuke and Kaido is just Wano, right? Surface level Wano stuff about why Kaido is in Wano, why Kaido should leave Wano, talk about Odin and Momonosuke growing up. It's going to be some regurgitation of some of the dialogue we've seen before, but from a different place because Momonosuke is not as vulnerable as he once was. So for Kaido, this could be an annoyance because I'm sure whatever Momonosuke is going to utter, he's been hearing it from Yamato for 2 decades. So it's kind of like, oh my God, this kid, I've heard all this before, but you're better. And this makes more sense because you're supposed to be defending Wano, not my kid. My kid is supposed to be right there with me on my hip, tearing this place down, well, liberating this place so that I can occupy it, right? Not trying to defeat me. I'm interested in how Luffy handles the situation. Does he fall into the background, let Momonosuke take charge? Or is he a part of the conversation? Does he say things as well? Because, you know, Luffy, he's the main character, right? So he has to interject at some point. Luffy's presence, even if he doesn't want it to be felt, will be felt regardless. I think silence will be golden, and if he says something, that's going to be epic as well. Haven't seen Yukimaru in a while, Onimaru we should say, and there's been some revelations in regards to Uchimaru, so I think it'd be an apt transition. I'm not sure if he's going to bring some more weapons to the battlefield, if he's the one protecting Hiyori. There's so many things that we have to kind of craft out and see what happens, but I think it's going to be just along those lines. Kaido, Momonosuke, some Law, Big Mom, Kid stuff, and then there's going to be a wrinkle that we don't expect, right? Maybe some CP0 dialogue again, page 1 getting up, things like that. Oda likes breaking our ankles so we don't know what's going to happen, and I think that happens every chapter, even though some chapters may be as expected. But then something happens in the chapter where like, well, no, I didn't expect that at all. Same thing applies here, guys. Give me your thoughts. What do you think happens in One Piece chapter 1026? I think highly anticipated because of the Momonosuke and Kaido stuff mostly, right? We want to see that interaction. I mean, I would love it if they both just transformed back to their regular forms, because Kaido at this point, he's transforming for no reason because he's in a form that I think gets bludgeoned the most, his dragon form, but he was in his hybrid form. So I don't know why he went to his dragon form. I mean, it seems a bit more contrived now I think about it, because Kaido's only in his dragon form because Momonosuke was coming. He had no reason to transform into a dragon there. Like, it was just a plot thing. Like, all right, Kaido, dragon time. He's like, ah, damn it. That's pretty much what happened. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about what's going on right now? What do you think is going to happen? Like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BrogDAce. Follow me on Instagram, BrogD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Guys, again, like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost.